Okay, good evening, folks. Welcome to the regularly scheduled Rochester Downtown Development Authority meeting for Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. Madam Recording Secretary, the roll, please.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Present.
Mayor Vixen. Eric Diana.
Present.
Paul Haig.
Here.
Tanya Karsten.
Here.
Roger Knapp. Bob Bloomingdale.
Here.
Lisa Germani Williams. Tony LaPuma.
Here.
Bob DiTomaso.
Here.
Marilyn Trent. Don Sinkowitz.
Here.
Christy Trevorrow.
Here.
There is a quorum.
Fantastic. First item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes. Regularly scheduled meeting of February 21, the special meeting on March 5, and the closed session for March 5. Is there any question with respect to the minutes and or a motion to whatever?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Second and third, we're good to go. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Fantastic. Thank you. Audience comments. I don't have anybody except for people that are already on the agenda, so we'll pass on that one. Liaison reports. City Council, Marilyn Trent is not here this evening. The mayor has parent-teacher conferences, so he's not here. So, Nick, you are last man standing.
So we had a meeting on March 11th. We had 3 students, one from each high school, Stony, Rochester, and Adams, come and talk about their charity week functions that they did. It was really cool, actually. They've raised collectively like $38,000 or more to give to a organization, I believe it was in Pontiac, that helps people adjust after coming out of abusive situations. So it was kind of cool, I think. So each student got up and talked about what their school did, and then collectively they did things together on a Saturday where they had one event that they collaborated on. So that was pretty cool. DDA did their farmers market project presentation. We had PSD presentation also to set the public hearing coming up so that Christy walked them through that process. Let's see, what else do we do? We had a grant, just technicality, some grant paperwork that we had to do for the 2024 high-intensity drug trafficking grant. So you have to go through all these steps with the feds to make sure that you're still getting your money out of the NET program. So we have an officer that's assigned to NET, and if at the end of the year, everybody in Oakland County splits up the pot of money that comes from confiscations, et cetera. So we have to do that once a year to make sure that we come back and we're part of it. And then we approved extending our Mannequin Vance relationship, which does our benefits and helps HR. So we went through and bid that out. Joanne interviewed, I think, 5 companies, and we ended up going back to Mannequin Vance and had them modify some of the things they do for us to better fit the city of Rochester. So we were pleased with that. That was great. And that's pretty much it for and we just had our council report. So that was it.
All right, fantastic. Any questions for the city manager? Seeing none, we shall march forward. Chamber of Commerce, do we have a person yet? Or are they still?
They have not appointed a liaison, and I have not received a written report from Maggie, so.
All right, so I guess
all I
we'll close your eyes really tight and figure out something. It was good.
Yes.
It's all fantastic. So, Historical Commission, Mr. Sinkowitz, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. As indicated in the last meeting, the Founders Day was held on March 10th at the Rochester Museum, and that went very well, very good attendance. We have distributed all the coloring books to the second graders, as we talked about. The bagpiper that was there did lead the celebration off and played during the celebration, so that was nice. But without a doubt, the highlight was the leader dogs for the blind. Melissa, Wise did an excellent job in her presentation, explaining the whole process of how the dogs are trained, with a significant amount of money that costs to train those dogs. That was really impressive. They did have some dogs there, 6 dogs, that are in their first year of training. They stay with a family for 1 year, and then they move on into the training process. And surprisingly, the facility here is 14 acres in size. They have 191 individuals that are there full-time. And if you counted all their volunteers, it's in the thousands. So she did an excellent job, a very good presentation, very detailed, provided a lot of information. The Shannon Irish Dancers closed out the celebration, as they have done in the past, and they'll also be at the Heritage Day Festival, which I'll remind everyone, May 25th and May 26th is the Memorial Day weekend. That's when we'll have it. So far, all the entertainment that signed up for last year and participated in last year has as signed up for this year, so we'll have that entertainment, and we're looking at some other groups. The one thing I did want to mention, I talked about it briefly in the last meeting, was putting together some charts for the historical plaque program. I did put those charts together, but I haven't had an opportunity to present them to the Historical Commission, so they need to see them first before I pass them out. But Christie, as soon as I get their blessing, then I'll send them to you. You can put them in the packet for next meeting.
Happy to.
Okay, thank you.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for that report. Any questions for historical? Seeing none, we shall march forward. Principal Shopping District, Madam Director.
As Nick mentioned, Principal Shopping District is in process of their renewal. So when we were at council last Monday, we went ahead and did that presentation. Also at the last meeting, they put in their application for the second annual Makers Market, which will be happening on Walnut and Fourth, and they're looking to expand the footprint if they have enough vendor interest to go around Walnut, so that we can test that out before Kris Kringle Market season comes, where we'd really like to do that expansion. So that's what PSD is working on.
Fantastic. All right, with that, we have gotten through the liaison reports. General business agenda items, social district update. City attorney is watching a basketball game, so we get to
Correct.
stay here instead.
He did give me his cell phone number.
100%.
so
No, it's
I
good.
can
No,
call him if
this
we
is
have-
just a follow-up, and it wasn't a dig at the city attorney.
So Jeff had planned to be here, and then he had
Hey, man.
messaged me and said, hey,
Things happen quickly in the
yeah, if I
sports
want to go
world.
watch a basketball game, is that okay? So who am I to say no? So anyway, so he prepared a memo for me, which I put at everybody's place. And I've been going back and forth with him today just to get a few clarifications. But essentially, at last month's meeting, there was concern that because Main Street is a state highway, how would a social district interact with that, and what would MDOT's position be? So Jeff was able to reach out to his contacts there, and essentially, I'll just highlight this really long memo. It says, MDOT will not take a position on whether the city of Rochester can establish such a social district. However, whatever the city decides to do, the social district cannot infringe on the parking lanes or travel lanes. So he pressed again, you see in the third paragraph, saying if he could get a little bit more information, but basically they're not going to take a position and just assume whatever the city of Rochester decides is fine, because they are not an enforcement agency and do not wish to opine.
Gotcha, all right.
So there's that. So having said that, I had emailed Attorney Crop back and said, okay, if I'm understanding that, then based on the other comments that we had, and I have this very official email from Jeff, I said, so if the DDA decides that they would like the city to pursue establishing a social district, would it be fair for the DDA to submit a request for consideration to city council with recommendation for the items required by the MLCC on the permit, which includes local management and maintenance plans, hours of operation, designated district, and list of qualified licensees? And then I asked a few more questions, and his response was, yes, I think that's a fine summary. Perfect. So essentially, if the DDA would like to move forward with a social district, is not an action that we take, it is something that the city would take. But there are a lot of decisions that need to be made, those things that I just listed as well. Then we also have to talk about the cup distribution, signage, who would shoulder the costs for those kinds of things like that. So and one other thing I did, just so you guys have a feel for how many businesses this could potentially impact. This is the map of the downtown district. Every star is a qualified licensee, meaning someone that has a version of a license that is covered under the social district. There are 29.
Wow.
So a lot of people would take advantage of this, I would think. But my recommendation would be to ask the board to allow me to work with city administration, police chief, DPW, city manager, and come back with a plan and in April, and see if everybody likes that and whatever tweaks we want to make, and then send it up to council for their consideration.
Kind of like that. Board, any questions for the director?
The only other thing I would mention, this was in the minutes, people were concerned about increased either incidents, whether it was driving or pedestrian incidents with the police. And I was able to speak with DDA directors in Ferndale, Royal Oak, South Lyon within the last week, and they all said they didn't see any real uptick. And specifically they said no incidents in terms of police, but in terms of trash, they said they really only see their social districts being heavily used during existing downtown events. Otherwise, it's pretty tame.
Gotcha.
So
All right, well, any questions or comments?
One quick, would that be year-round, or is that?
We can decide, you can be as very specific as you can set hours, you can set days of the week. I'm sure that you could set times of the year, whatever you would like to do. Some people, I've heard in other smaller cities, they only do it during events because they have a very small population of restaurants to begin with, whereas bigger cities that have more liquor license applicants would have a little bit more interest in that being expanded, but.
I got a question.
Sure, Tony.
Are we thinking just like in the, like, University to Second, or
Well,
just in our downtown? I know there's bars on the other side. I know.
All 29 stars?
No, I
yes.
see that, like.
So, well, and that's something that we have to decide also with the Market and the Graham. Do we want it to go farther out so people could wander over there? So there's lots of questions to be asked. The other thing you have to keep in mind too is just because there are all these stars, they're not obligated to participate. So like Silver Spoon, for instance, I don't know that I see Rito doing takeout cocktails, but maybe. But it is up to them. So essentially, we would include all of the potential licensees, all the qualified licensees in our application that would be sent up to MLCC. And then the next process, which we can get into in April, is that each restaurant then has to apply on their own. It's about a $325 permit fee. They have to apply on their own, get inspections, and actually qualify and all of that. It's been recommended to us by every town I talk to is to put all of your licensees on the application. Otherwise, you have to go back to council for every new one that decides to join. So just because there are 29, I don't know that necessarily means they all want to join, but at the same time, you have to decide, do we want to be inclusive or exclusive?
Yeah, so my thoughts are, we've got a lot on our plate right now.
Yes.
So I don't want to confuse and cloud issues, so I wanted to work on the big project now and have this sort of be, whatever. We could work on it concurrently, but I want to get that one first. I personally would like a lot more information from, how many are actually interested in it, because if we put people's name on an application and they didn't ask for it, we might, so there's a lot of that part. I know that Chief George was sort of indifferent to it. He was supportive.
Yeah, he's supportive. He doesn't seem to have an issue.
So,
when I talk.
but yeah, so let's crawl a little bit before we walk on this one. We got a lot to do, so I want to make sure that we get through the big ones first, and then this one can be trailing. I did ask Attorney Cott last time if there was a shot clock in this one, and he said not really, so.
Yeah, I think it's just, I can tell you right now, I have 7 businesses that have called in the last 2 weeks wondering when that social district's getting going.
Yeah, so part of,
So,
yeah, so I
because they
don't know.
want it for summer.
Yeah, so this was, just for those, quick refresher, we had this on the agenda in February, and the city attorney made a presentation with respect to sort of, he had looked at how it's worked in other cities, and there's, it's like 400 or something?
632.
632, so there's, I mean, it's literally, I'd hate to say we're one of the only ones that don't have one, but it's pretty much the way it is. But our situation, because Main Street runs through the middle of town, is similar to Ferndale and how they treat Woodward. So I just, like I said, my druthers would be to sort of walk before we crawl. Let's get some more intel, get more people involved. I'd like to, if it's biz dev, or we reach out individually to the business, say, hey, look, nothing for nothing, this is something that if we had that, would you guys be interested in participating? I just like to, in yes or no, it doesn't matter, we're not gonna hold, whatever, but would it be okay if we put your name on the application, knowing that we're trying to measure twice and cut once?
Well, and at the same time, the application, it doesn't indicate interest, it's just, every town told me, you should just list everyone, there's no obligation, there's no cost.
I just want to make sure that that's made crystal clear to all the
Yeah.
businesses, so, because you and I know that, but it's like, hey, what is
Yeah.
this? I didn't apply for it, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, my take is let's just kind of be very diligent, measure 3 times and cut once on this one, and, but, 600 and whatever, it's not like we don't have a lot of evidence out there to fall back on, so there seems to be a fair bit of interest in it, and I think Attorney Crott allayed a lot of fears that I had in a presentation in February, so. All right, well, we'll stick with that. Any other questions for the director with respect to this item? Seeing none, we shall march forward. Me. Okay, so update on the Market and Grant project. So a lot of moving parts. Our attorney is here this evening, where we will be going into closed session after this to discuss some finer points that are sort of best done in closed session. But in terms of sort of the overall, project, at council on Monday, as Nick had referred to, we presented to council sort of the idea of the project. It's widely public knowledge, the purchase price and what we were going to do. So that's all sort of out there. But in terms of sort of, it's like a proverbial onion. The more layers you peel back, the more you want to cry, right? So we're starting to get into the really tough stuff, and we're blessed to have a really great legal counsel sort of helping us get through it. But there's a lot of moving parts with the parcel, so we're working on those. We did enter into the purchase agreement. You guys authorized me at the special session to enter into agreement. We have done so, so that's done. So it's largely the same terms that we had talked about. We do have a couple other options that I want to talk in closed session about. With respect to the other pieces, we did get a quote back from the architect, the first architect that had done this, the two drawings for us. It came in rather high. So I don't know if you wanted to.
So Bob and Splitton spoke with that architect,
Yep.
and we're having a meeting tomorrow. They were able to take out a few things. I think there were just a few things that they assumed that weren't true, like that we'd be using the city as our civil engineering, things like that.
Okay.
So we've got a clarifying conversation with them and a meeting tomorrow, and then our original architects are meeting with them tomorrow too, to get a quote, so that we're comparing apples to apples.
Gotcha. All right, so that's good. So by close of business tomorrow, it would be safe to say we'll have pretty good direction, or at least a thought of how we're going to go. So we'll regroup. We're trying to, be mindful of the shot clock, right? I made a commitment to council to have back numbers and budget by April 22nd, their second meeting in April, and I intend to stick to that. I told the mayor so. So last night I reiterated it. So to do that, we need a lot of people doing a lot of things, and I don't want to get in the way of that one. So I think we're still on track. I feel really good about it. Other than that, really, now is going to be the part where we have to roll up our sleeves and get after it. There's a lot of pieces that we need to do in a very short period of time. And I'm confident. We got a great team. I mean, so I'm so blessed to have you guys, on this, and we're able to sort of bang through the pieces. So it's going to be great. We are going to get this thing done. I'm confident of it, although, you never know what you don't know. So I guess we'll find out. That's what the attorneys are for. But so far, so good. And now the hard part begins, right? So it's going to be budget. It's going to be construction cadence. It's going to be much like the first iteration. I'm going to ask that as we price it out, we're going to price it out in sections. So to the extent that we have to move pieces from one fiscal to another to do it or not do it at all, we can have that dialogue. But, my intent is to try and come either at the number that we discussed or less. So fingers crossed, toes crossed, legs crossed, everything's crossed, eyes crossed. We're gonna pull it off. So that is sort of the update from the front lines with respect to that. The rest of it we will cover in closed session. The intent, we'll cover that in closed session. So other than that, I don't know if anybody got any questions for me on sort of that part. Yes, ma'am.
If I can just add that we did reapply for the John James grant.
Oh, good.
So
Yeah,
that's already gone in. We don't know where that'll go, but that was one from last year that we had applied for, and all of the other monies went to his other Macomb County communities. Nothing
Like
here.
last time, huh?
Yes, so they had reached out to us and encouraged us to try again. So we're trying again.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
is there anybody left in Macomb County that didn't get any money?
I'm sure there are, but yeah, so we're going to try again and
Hopefully,
see
they
how
just
that
exhausted all those
goes.
Macomb County resources, you can flip some stuff over the fence, over to Quinder to us. It'd be great.
Yes, so that's already in, and fingers crossed, I think it'll be the same process as last time, that we won't know probably until later in the summer, although his staff indicated that there were some dollars that were coming available rather quickly, and were going to have to be turned around rather quickly, so we made sure we got into the queue, so.
All right,
We'll see.
we got enough to go in front of anybody and present, so. Okay, that's fantastic news. And we will never stop looking for money. I mean, that's like, the omnipresent job of our director is to continually turn over rocks and find cash to do stuff. So we will endeavor to do that carrying forward. Budget update. So these kind of go hand in hand. The budget subcommittee had met once already. We kind of went through that, and in the ops part, everything there is pretty much cut and dried. It's really going to be finding out how much this project's going to be, at what year it's going to cascade into, and then also working with the infrastructure committee and making sure that we've got sufficient funding to accomplish the objectives there as well. So I asked Anthony, he was out of town last week, so he sent me something towards, I think, the early part of this week. So I'm going to try and regroup us in short order. And I think we're very, very close. So I'm just going to put a placeholder in for this particular project, for the farmer's market project, based on the pro forma that I did and presented to council. And then to the extent it changes, we'll just notify everybody when it changes. But we're due in what, May? Yeah, so we got some time. So that's the plan with respect to the budget. And, but once we get it all fleshed out, of course, it's going to come here and we'll all review it and you guys will say yay or nay, and then we shall march forward. Any questions with respect to the budget process? All right, hammer is going down. Outdoor dining platform program, Madam Director.
That is me. So for anyone who's not familiar with the program, we started this back in 2020. It was to help our downtown businesses that needed to have more outdoor dining options, and for those that didn't already have existing outdoor dining, that they will be able to offer that. So we started this in 2020, have done it every year since. It's become incredibly popular. The businesses really enjoy it. In your packet is a list of businesses that would like to do it, and then we have a new request from St. 1881 that they'd like to grab one as well, which we do have enough, so we would be able to accommodate that. So we need to send this to council to see if they would be open to this, because these are being placed in parking spaces. In 2020, there was no cost other than our installation and removal of the decks, because we had paid.
800 grand into the parking fund.
That's right. And then in 2021, in support of the businesses, because COVID was still lingering, council opted not to charge us. In 22 and 23, they did not waive the fees, so I would expect it to be the same for 24. But we do need to put this before them either way so that they can confirm.
So I'm guessing you need a motion to send to
I
council?
do.
Okay, so I cannot make motions?
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
Second.
well, there we have it. Hey, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you for that. Rolling into your updates, director update?
I'm going to allow Mr. Hague to do the update from the Oakland County Summit, because he attended with me yesterday.
Excellent. Yeah, and I'm sorry I couldn't do that. It's tax season.
The Oakland County Summit was 80-plus people. It was nice and crowded. It had people from every DDA you can imagine, and they were throwing ideas back and forth and helping each other. It had, it also had SEMCOG there. We also had DTE Energy there. We had regional, we had all sorts of different people there. And we also had Oakland County Board of Commissioners, some of them. And it turns out that the Main Street program has not had a raise in their budget since 2014, which was made very clear and very positive by a young lady, Christie.
Oh, dear.
With a microphone that she actually walked out into the hallway to get somebody to come back in.
Oh, dear.
And got lots of cheers for that.
Oh, dear.
The economic,
Sounds worse than it is.
it was actually great. The economic impact from 2001 to 2023 is $967,452,702. $222,206,704 is public, and $745,245,998 is private. So
Of $1
this is
billion,
great-
$750 million.
That's,
is just-
that's an
great.
unbelievable impact. See, I guess John Bray did a great job, as he always does.
Yeah, he always does.
covered every point, and he remembered everybody in the room.
That's great.
Yeah, so, and it was really interesting to listen to the different DDAs help each other in coming up. One of our town people got up and gave a speech about, if you need volunteers, go to the high schools. And it was all a positive thing, because there was a lot of people that said, we don't have any volunteers. So that was solved. Anything else?
No, just to be clear, I was encouraged to, so here's, it all happened so fast.
Basically saying you were set up.
Yeah, pretty much. But basically, they made the mistake of putting a break right before they got to the part where we could talk about what things we thought Waynesboro Oakland County could use. And a lot of the commissioners took that opportunity to leave, and they're the ones that set budget.
Right.
And so when I asked the question that I was asked to ask, and I said, well, when was the last time? I said, we don't know, you'd have to ask a commissioner. And so I look around the room and said, well, they've left. And then Eric Phillips from Oakland County said, wait, they're still in the hall. So I went and got one. And the one I ended up with was Dave Woodward.
Oh, dear.
Oopsie doopsie. So he was fine.
Yeah.
Super fun guy. But he said 2014, he confirmed.
Wow.
And yeah, So I hopefully that word's going to get
How many
around.
DDAs did we have back, 14 years ago? And how many, since 2014, how many extra DDAs have come into Main Street program?
So they now have 28 programs that they're trying to work with at different levels, where they're a basic level, a full, a Main Street training, or a select level like us. So 28 different communities, and as I tried to explain, you have more children, you have to feed them, but you only have the same budget, so what are you going to do? So that, we'll see where that goes. They're planning for their budget season, which starts, their new budget starts October.
Gotcha.
So we just kind of planted a few seeds, because they'd like to provide, because anything that gets to Oakland County ends up coming to us, so.
I mean, it's a great event, and it's a great networking opportunity, so thanks for going for that, Paul. Appreciate that. So, thank you for that. All right, events and marketing?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, please, sorry. Sorry.
Couple more. Our pilot program that I know several people here participated in, the Next Gen program that was here, and then it was mothballed at National. They now have at Main Street America a new director. Her name is Erin Barnes. We had a Zoom call with her, the other pilot communities, Ferndale, Royal Oak, ourselves, and Ortonville, and then talked about things of what we could be doing, along with the people from Washington Main Street, which they have gotten involved in. They think it's a pretty good idea. So looks like it might be getting some traction and new life again back at Main Street America, which would be pretty exciting. So more to come on that. And then just in your packet, I had included, this is the next, we do manager trainings every couple months. This one's open to everybody. It's Inclusive Horizons. It's DEI, so diversity, equity, inclusion. If anybody wants training on this, it's a free seminar. It's down in Lathrop Village, so I included the flyer. In the electronic copy, this link is clickable, and it's free, so you can just click through if you're interested in going. The whole staff is going, because we haven't, city hasn't done DEI training yet, so we're interested, so we're gonna be going.
Okay.
But if anybody else wants to join, please do. That's it.
All right, fantastic. Events and marketing?
Everything is right in there, and we're just clicking right along. We are 6 weeks away from opening day of Farmers Market.
Crazy.
It's crazy, so it's a lot. Yep, 25 years, 25th anniversary.
Tell that by today's weather, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for the update. Financial report is in your packet. Any questions for the director or myself with respect to the financials? Feel free to let us know. Biz Dev.
We really haven't had any meetings lately, so there's no report.
We were supposed to
dear.
meet today, but we didn't have a lot going on,
Yeah,
so.
we got too much going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot going on, nothing going on at the same time. Site,
Just working on the gram, that's our priority right now.
and then, well, we got other stuff too, but
Yeah.
then we'll work on the budget part of
Yeah.
that. But, yeah, okay. Oh, the other stuff we had talked about with respect to the pocket parks and stuff like that, you guys are still working that too, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
What to do with the donor wall and,
Yes, a lot of that, I think we're thinking about the donor wall related to the Graham Building might be an opportunity to move.
all right, so I'm reaching ahead of you guys have not.
Yes,
okay.
we've got a few things, but we already did take care of Depot Plaza, that's not going to be under our purview anymore. We just are obligated to replace the landscaping
Gotcha.
around the train station, and then we're out of that project.
Yeah.
So little things we're working on, but we are laser focused on
We don't
the
own
big
that
guy.
parcel, so- Yeah, no, understood. We don't own that parcel, so that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. Okay, so I guess the cadence on that one, as you guys get that sort of firmed up, we'll go through it on budget, and then it'll be part of what's brought back here as we go through the budget. Next meeting, right? Yeah, okay. All right, very good. All right, that's that. So with that, we've completed the bulk of the main agenda. At the time, I'd like to have somebody make a motion to go into closed session to discuss the
I'll
purchase
make
of
a motion to
property.
go into
Hold on one
closed
second,
session.
I'm not done yet. Hold on. Holy crap. Guess we want to go into closed session and hurry up and get out of here. So it's the closed session to discuss purchase of real property and also consider an opinion from the DDA's attorney. With an intent to return to open session, for sure. Are we good with that? Yes?
Good with that.
All right.
Great
Who's-
motion.
Are you good?
If they still want to move in second,
Okay.
I'm good.
Second.
All right. Sounds good. All right, it's a roll call vote. Madam Recording Secretary.
Oh. Bob DiTomaso,
Yes.
Tony LaPuma.
Yes.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Yes.
Tanya Karsten.
Yes.
Paul Hay,
Yes.
Eric Diana.
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, so we are now in closed session. Thanks, Don, appreciate it.
Make a motion to come out of closed session.
Second. Okay, support. Roll call vote?
Let me write. Eric Diana,
Yes.
Paul Haig,
Yes.
Tanya Karsten.
Yes.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Yes.
Tony Lupo.
Yes.
Bob DiTomaso.
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Okay, we're back in open session. Okay, so there's two items that we need to get some clarity in, and the chair needs to get direction on. The first of which is to authorize the chair to entertain and work with private party lenders to secure financing options with respect to the project.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Haig, second.
Second.
Okay, since this, should this be a roll call vote? Yeah, I think so, too. Okay, Madam LeBron?
Bob DiTomaso.
Yes.
Tony LaPuma.
Yes.
Tanya Karsten.
Yes.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Yes.
Eric Diana.
Yes.
Paul Haig.
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Fantastic. Okay, and then the second one is we need to, authorization to release a attorney-client privilege communication to the public, as it were. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right,
That's
Se-
good.
You win. You outrank me, your secretary.
gotcha. All right, so roll call vote, please.
Bob DiTomaso.
Yes.
Tanya Karsten.
Yes.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Yes.
Tony LaPuma.
Yes.
Eric Diana.
Yes.
Paul Haig.
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Fantastic. Okay, so with that, I think, is there any other miscellaneous this evening in open session? All right,
Jeff, you can just email me that, so I have it for the record.
Yeah. Now the fun part begins, people, so good stuff. All right, thank you, and then, as it were, meeting adjourned.